My name is Angela. I never thought the day would come when my own daughter would look at me like I was a stranger. But life has a cruel way of teaching you what love really costs. When I married David, I was a single mother working double shifts just to afford a one-bedroom apartment for me and my little girl. Maya was only 8 back then, bright-eyed, curious, the kind of child who believed every rainbow led to treasure. I wanted to protect that hope forever. David came into our lives like sunlight through storm clouds. He was charming, soft-spoken, and said all the right things. He made Maya laugh again after years of watching me break my back to survive. I fell in love with how he cared for her, not realizing that love sometimes blinds you more than hate ever could. For a few years, everything seemed perfect. Maya called him Dad, and I watched the two of them bond over pancakes and Sunday cartoons. But slowly, David's true self began to show. He became controlling. Little things at first. He'd comment on how I dressed, how I talked, how I should spend money. Then he started talking down to Maya. "Don't spoil her," he'd say. "She needs to learn respect." Respect? For what? For a man who didn't earn the right to call himself a father. One night, Maya forgot to wash the dishes after dinner. David shouted so loudly that the neighbours knocked to see if everything was okay. I told him to stop, but his eyes, cold, empty, made my blood freeze. That was the first time I saw fear in Maya's eyes. From that day, I began saving, not for a vacation, not for luxury, but for escape. Every dollar I could hide went into a secret account. I told myself, one day, I'll take Maya and we'll start over, but life had other plans. When Maya turned 16, she started to drift away from me. David bought her things I couldn't afford, an iPhone, new clothes, little gifts that made him look like the hero. He poisoned her heart quietly, whispering that I was bitter and ungrateful. Then one night, she shouted words that still echo in my heart. "You're just jealous because David treats me better than you ever did." I felt my soul shatter. How could she believe that? Everything I did, every sacrifice, every sleepless night, was for her, but I didn't fight. I just walked away to my room and cried until dawn. Mothers don't stop loving their children, even when their children stop loving them. 2 years later, Maya graduated. David insisted on paying for her college. I was grateful, until I learned the truth. He wasn't paying from his pocket. He was using my savings. The account I had built to escape him was gone, emptied every cent. And Maya, she didn't even ask where the money came from. She just smiled at him, saying, "Well, thank you, Dad," that word, Dad, burned like acid in my heart. Then came the betrayal that finally broke me. I came home early from work one afternoon. Maya and David were in the kitchen. He had his arm around her shoulders, whispering something that made her smile. When she saw me, she pulled away quickly, guilty. David just smirked. I knew something was wrong. That evening, Maya told me she wanted to move out, with him. "David says it's better for me to live in a stable home, Mum. You're always stressed, always angry. I can't take it anymore. My..." Knees went weak. He had turned her completely, against me, and she chose him. My daughter, my only family, walked. Out that night, I stood at the door as the tail lights disappeared into the dark. It felt like watching my heart drive away. For months, I lived like a ghost. Work, home, silence. No calls from Maya, no messages, just empty rooms and echoes of laughter that no longer belonged to me. Then one day, Karma decided to knock. A call came from a number I didn't recognize. It was Detective Harris. He said they needed to speak with me about David Carter, my ex-husband. Ex? I didn't even know he'd divorced me, but what he said next made my blood run cold. David had been arrested. For fraud, embezzlement and identity theft. He'd been scamming multiple women using fake investment deals, and one of the victims was my daughter. Apparently, after Maya turned 22, David convinced her to invest her college savings into one of his business projects. She trusted him completely. By the time she realized what he'd done, he'd already taken everything and vanished. Her money, her car, even her apartment lease was under his fake company name. When they finally caught him, he was living in another state under a different identity, with another woman. For days. I couldn't move. Part of me wanted to laugh at the cruel justice of it all, but another part, the mother in me, just broke again, because no matter what she did, Maya was still my child, and now she was broken too. When Maya finally called, her voice was trembling. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't listen to you. I didn't see what he was. I wanted to be angry, but all I felt was relief. Relief that she was alive, that she finally saw the truth." I drove 8 hours to pick her up. When I saw her standing by the bus stop, clutching a small duffel bag, she looked nothing like the confident girl who once shouted at me. She looked lost. Without a word, she ran into my arms and cried like she was 8 again. We didn't talk much on the drive home, but when we got there, I made her the same pancakes we used to share when she was little. She smiled weakly and whispered, "I missed this." That night she asked me, "How did you forgive me so easily, Mom?" I said, "Because someday you'll have a child too, and then you'll understand that a mother's love doesn't come with conditions." Months passed. Maya slowly rebuilt her life. She found a job, started therapy, and began volunteering at a women's shelter, helping those who'd suffered from emotional abuse. It was her way of healing, I think. One evening, she came to me with tears in her eyes again. But this time, they weren't from pain. She showed me a letter David had written from prison, begging for forgiveness. He claimed he'd changed, that he was sorry, that he missed his family. Maya looked at me and said, "Should I forgive him?" I told her, forgiveness isn't about him. It's about freeing yourself. But never forget the lesson. She never wrote back. She didn't need closure from him anymore. She found it in herself. Years later, when Maya got married, she asked me to walk her down the aisle. I almost laughed through my tears. As she held my arm, she whispered, "You were always the real parent." I was just too blind to see it, and in that moment, every scar, every tear, every night I'd cried alone, it all made sense, because karma had done its job, not with revenge or hate, but with truth. Today, when I look back, I don't feel anger, just gratitude, that the truth came out before it was too late, that Maya found her way back, that love, no matter how broken, can still be mended. People often say karma takes time. They're right, it waited years. But when it arrived, it came with lessons we both needed. So if you're watching this, remember, sometimes the people you lose were never yours to begin with, and sometimes the ones who leave come back when they finally learn what love truly means. Because love isn't about choosing sides, it's about finding your way back home. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Echoes from Her for more emotional stories that remind us what family, forgiveness, and strength truly mean.